Hi everybody, and welcome to The Courageous Chick. I'm Shakia Mayer. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so I wanted to create this video to talk a little bit about TLC's new show, Smothered. Now, just in case you aren't familiar with who I am and what I do, I am a licensed mental health therapist, and I work with all sorts of people and situations and things like that. And so when I saw this show, oh my. I couldn't help but to do a case study on it because it was that fascinating to me. Fascinating in an interesting but disturbing kind of way. Nonetheless, it kept me entertained for the most part. So I wanted to hop on and talk a little bit about Smothered and how it relates to my work as a therapist. So stick with me. If you are not familiar with TLC's new show, Smothered, it's a show where it follows these mother-daughter duos, and essentially it highlights their lives as a duo. So these moms and daughters, these pairs are best friends. They do everything together. They share their deepest, darkest secrets with each other. They are, the moms smother them, right? And so as I'm watching this show, what kept coming to mind was enmeshment. Do you guys know what enmeshment is? Okay, so just in case you don't, enmeshment when it comes to family relationships is when people think of the individuals in the family like this, right? Where they're just so close together and their lives are intertwined. And what happens is it's these relationships that people have with one another. And so in this case, we're talking about family enmeshment. So these familial relationships where there are, little boundaries, little to no boundaries that people have, and the lines get blurred. And so as I'm watching the show, you have, moms and daughters who are getting their boobs done so that they can have the same kind of boobs. And they take being close to a whole nother level. My mom and I like to think that we are close. We go get manis and petties together. We have dinner. We talk. We laugh. We share our lives together, but there is a healthy balance, right? And so with these duos, these mom and daughter duos, there is no balance, at least not in the first episode. Hopefully there will be, we'll see a little more balance, and hopefully some of the children, the adult children, will start to assert themselves and own their identity. But as of the first episode, there is none, okay? There is no separate identity. They are one. And while we can watch the show and it's definitely entertaining, like I said, a little disturbing, but entertaining nonetheless, there are some messages that I want you to take away from this video. But really quickly, before I get into those messages, I wanted to, I know I keep saying it's interesting, but a little disturbing. So I'm blanking on their names right now, but it's Soon-Yi, and her daughter, let me see, I think I have it here. Soon-Yi and her daughter, Angelica, they share the same bed. Okay, so first of all, Soon-Yi is like 50, let's see, how old is she? She is in her 50s, I believe. She's 50, and Angelica is 30. I don't understand why they are sharing the same bed. It looks like they have this beautiful home. I don't understand why they are sharing the same bed. But on top of sharing the same bed, they also share the same bath water. Now listen, come now. Could you imagine sharing bath water with anybody? All that dead skin and stuff in that tub. Why are you sharing bath water? They live, I think on the show it says in Las Vegas. It seems like they have a nice home. Why are you sharing bath water? So that's what I mean by enmeshed. Like they are so enmeshed that they share everything, including a bed and bath water. No ma'am. No, that's not healthy. For different reasons, that's not healthy. Why are we doing that? Why are we sharing bathwater? But anyway, I don't know, that's just disturbing to me. And then we have another duo. Their names are Dawn and Cher. Dawn is the mom and Cher is the daughter. Again, I believe Dawn is in her 60s or late 50s. And Cher is in her late 20s, early 30s. So Dawn says that she named her daughter Cher because when she was younger, she just wanted to share everything with her. Ma'am. She said also during the show that Dawn said in the show that Cher may have grown up earlier than most kids because, they would, again, talk to one another, and Cher would and Dawn would tell Cher, the daughter, all of her problems and things like that. So from an early age, they were best friends. Okay, there's, to each their own, I suppose. There are all these different ways to be close. But again, there's a difference between being close and being enmeshed. And so while this show is entertaining, as I said before, there are some things that I just want you to be mindful of. So first thing, the reason why we don't want to be enmeshed, we don't want to have enmeshed relationships, because it impacts your identity. It impacts your sense of self and independence. So you tend to doubt some of the decisions you make. You're always looking for, so in this case, and you saw it all throughout the show where the children, these adults that were old enough and capable of making decisions for themselves, were looking to their parents to make the decision for them, to help them with a decision. Not just help them with a decision, but to give them approval for their decisions. No. We want to learn how to make decisions on our own, because that helps us to be independent. It helps us to understand who we are. It would help us to be more confident, to be more assertive, to have healthier relationships. That's a whole nother topic. So really quickly, many of the daughters were involved in romantic relationships. And one daughter, I believe it was Sonyi and Angelica. Angelica's the daughter. Her boyfriend had asked her to move in with her, and she's like, I don't really know. I gotta ask my mom. I never really thought about moving out. Now, keep in mind, she's the same person who shares her bed and her bathwater with her mom. We don't want to do that. We want to have a sense of independence. We want to know who we are and stand in our own truth and make the decisions that you feel would be best for your life without depending on somebody else. Because if you depend on somebody else for your decisions, what happens when they are no longer around? Or what happens when things change? Then what are you left to do? Wander around and be clueless and not know? Or stay stuck where you are because you don't have the approval of somebody else? Your life will never be your life if you are enmeshed, if you are always seeking that approval and validation from other people. And so again, we're talking about enmeshment when it comes to family, but people can be enmeshed in relationships, romantic relationships, or even with some friendships. We want to make sure that there is a healthy, clear line, okay? Because we want everybody to be their own individual selves. So really quickly, because I don't want to keep you long. So as I said before, enmeshment can be problematic because it can impact a person's sense of self, but also their relationships. So when we think of enmeshment, these are some signs that's going to let us know whether or not we are in an enmeshed relationship. Do we have appropriate privacy between one another? So in this case, between the parent and the child? No, because if y'all sharing bathwater, I don't know how y'all have privacy. Y'all sharing bathwater. And y'all sharing a bed. You're a grown woman sharing a bed with your mother. I don't know. And I'm not trying to judge. I'm really not. But it just really was, I was taken aback by it. Because I'm like, come on. One of the pairs, so Dawn and Cher was pregnant. and Dawn kissed the pregnancy stick. No, we don't want to do that either. There's no, I guess there's no line that it won't cross. I don't know. So another sign that you're in an enmeshed relationship is if the child is best friends with the parent. Now, so, you know, these parent daughter duos are adults, but when you listen to their stories, they all started off as being best friends with their child. No. And so again, no judgment. We can be close to our parents. You can be close to your child, but you don't have to be best friends, because, you know, when a child is a child, they don't need any more friends. What they need is a parent. They need somebody to show them, you know, what's right from wrong, or what's effective versus ineffective, what's going to help them, what are their morals and values and things like that, and not necessarily a friend. And also, if you're being a best friend to your child, that means you're probably providing them with information that a child doesn't need. You're giving them intimate details about your relationship, about a divorce, about issues at work that are probably inappropriate for a child. So as I said before, even though these pairs are all adults, their relationships, this enmeshment began as a child. What's also interesting, a lot of the pairs, when the parents spoke, this behavior, you know, came about because they were single parents. They either went through a divorce, or the father just, you know, wasn't there at all and left early on. And so, you know, the parents became really, really close to their children, which is not uncommon. A lot of times when, you know, people are raising children as a single parent, they feel guilty, and so they want to go above and beyond for their child. They want to make sure that their child feels love, and so they tend to, you know, try and be close. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. I completely understand. But when it goes from being close to sharing bathwater, I draw the line. There's a line somewhere. Let's draw it. Okay, so some more signs of being enmeshed. You know, when a parent confides in their child and they tell their child like their secrets. We don't want to do that either. Also, a parent telling one child that they're the favorite, which we saw in the show. There, you know, I think there were two families that they highlighted during the premiere episode where the moms had other children, but it was this one child in particular that they would dress alike, talk alike, do everything together. Again, get matching boobs and tattoos and hair and outfits and all this stuff. And the other kid is just there and they're like, dude, what is going on? So that is, if you're doing some of these things, you might want to look into it, because it might mean you're enmeshed. And if you're enmeshed, as I said before, you might have some difficulty developing your own sense of self and developing your own goals and achieving the goals that you want in your life. So, you know, again, no judgment. We're having a little fun with it, but I thought it was a teachable moment. And lastly, one child receiving special privileges from a parent. We kind of talked about this already. So, you know, these are some of the signs that there might be some enmeshment going on. And we just want to make sure that if it is going on, we address it. Because guess what? If it's happening now, you don't want to be 30 sharing a bed, not just an apartment. You know, I can understand sharing an apartment. You know, it's economical. I get it, but you are sharing a bed. A bed and bathwater with your mom. I just can't get over it. I keep bringing it up because I cannot get over it. It's like, I don't even know. It's a mess to me. But it's an entertaining mess. And you also, you know, I don't know if you want to be like 30 dressing like your 60-year-old mom. I mean, I don't know. Maybe you do. If you do, fine. But you want to also make sure that you are developing your own sense of self, that you are able to be aware of your emotions and handle your emotions on your own effectively, that you're not looking for somebody to run your life for you, but that you know how to run your own life, so that you're not experiencing self-doubt and a lack of confidence and lack of self-awareness. Because if you think about that, if you're experiencing self-doubt and lack of self-esteem and self-confidence and self-awareness, then think about how that is going to impact your life. Think about how that's going to impact your relationships and your job, and things that you maybe deep down inside want to accomplish, but you won't because your parent doesn't approve of it. You stay, where you are, and you don't get to truly have the life that you want because somebody else is telling you not to. Which is why we don't want to live our lives based on shoulds, but that's a whole nother video, and I will get into that another time. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you took something away from it. If you have not watched the show Smothered, check it out. It comes on TLC on Sunday nights. I might do another video on it if I pick up any more themes, any more clinical themes from the show, which I'm sure I will, because there's just a lot. Like, you can totally do a case study on it. The nerd in me gets really excited about stuff like this. But anyway, if you haven't watched it, check it out. Let me know what you think. And also, if you have questions about enmeshment, and if you do, then we can do another video on it and take it a step further. That's all I have. I thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a courageous day. Bye.